Alright, I'm in my actual tower defense game, and I have this open. I'm gonna go ahead and make a new scene. You can name it whatever you want, but maybe I'll just name it uh, purposes. Because this one's for you. Alright, open it up, and we have a blank slate. So what we want to do first is we want to get some objects. Well, why don't I go ahead and get my make a new object, make a new sprite. Let's go ahead and make our tower. And click to add animation. Now, hopefully you already have a tower image. I think what I was using was this one. Okay, make that. Let's go ahead and make a boomerang as well. I'm going to use the one I drew last time. Awesome. So now what I want to do is I want to make this boomerang rotate around this tower, just like this. So how can I do that? Well, why don't we go ahead and look at this and try to see how it did that. It seems like I need a scene variable. I need some time delta thing, which I've told you to look up before. And it seems like we can hard code it. Or maybe what if I use my boomerang tower position in here? So we're not going to use this one. We're going to go ahead and use this one. So try it yourself. Try to see if you can use this equation to make this boomerang rotate around this tower. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead, right click, make a scene variable. I'm going to call this angle. And I'm going to give it an initial value, maybe 0. Doesn't really matter. Now, let's see. I'm going to make an event. I'm going to just copy this right here. There we go. And I'm just going to copy this into this one. Now we have to change some stuff. We don't have a char2. What object do we want to rotate? We want to move the boomerang. And what position do I want to set it to? Well, remember, this is the offset. So it shouldn't be 400 or 300. It should be the boomerang tower position. And what is that? Well, I'm going to do .point x. I'm going to use the center position. And I'm going to copy that. Paste it down here. And take away that 300. Alright, let's go ahead and try it. Hey, it's working. And let's go ahead and change, I don't know, maybe this value or this value. Maybe let's make that 400. See how it changes things up. Awesome, so we got that elliptical pattern. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that it's kind of rotating around my tower, and what we want in balloons is for it to rotate from my tower to some position, right? Another thing is we should be able to rotate maybe my tower to the enemy position. So for now, why don't I go ahead and make another object. Let's name it boomerang marker, like our old one. Add animation, boomerang marker. And I want this tower to rotate towards that marker. So let's go ahead and add that. Rotate. Rotate toward position. Boomerang tower. Rotate towards my boomerang marker dot center. Let's make that an instantaneous rotation. Awesome. So it's facing it. Now, as you can see, currently it's still not working. Why don't I make my boomerang rotate around both my tower and my marker? Now, how would I do that? Well, what if I got the positions of my tower and my marker, and then I divided that by 2, and I made that the center of my rotation, or my movement. So instead of it rotating around my tower, it would rotate around, let's say, the midpoint between the 2 objects. So how would I do that? Well, instead of rotating around, instead of making the center just the boomerang tower center, what if I took the midpoint between the boomerang tower and the boomerang marker? So it would be boomerang tower, the x position of the center, plus the boomerang marker, x position of the center. And I need another parentheses to do the addition, and then I'm going to divide it by 2. I'm going to copy that and paste it here, and I want to do divided by the point y. Let's go ahead and check, and it might help if I make these over here a little. Awesome. So we see that it's rotating around both of them. And if I was to stop and maybe make it here, not quite. So it's still making this ovular shape when it should be making this ovular shape. So almost, but not quite. But we'll get there sooner or later. Alright, so we've got it to rotate around both of them. Now what? Well, let's see. What if I actually try to make it come from here and hit there? And to be honest, I honestly forgot how exactly I did this. So I want to be looking at what I have right here to see what I have. Let's see. So we don't need all of that yet. I don't need this yet. I have this, I think. Rotate. Yep. Alright, what is this? Ah, the firing range. So my tower should have some firing range. And I think I made that dependent on this. Yes. And then let's see the movement. I divided by 2, so I got that. And then I do the firing range. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a firing range variable for my tower. Just like all my other towers. I'm going to give it an initial value of, well, let's just do 180. But that doesn't matter for now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it dependent on where my marker is, just for testing purposes. So if I look at the code, it is the max of the absolute value of boomerang marker x minus boomerang tower x, or so this max will give me this number or this number. Right? And so if this number is bigger than this number, then it will return this number. And we have to take the absolute value, because what if my boomerang marker is below my tower? Or what if my boomerang tower is above my tower? That's why we want the absolute value of such a thing. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy this into here. Okay. And now I'm going to check this out. So we haven't made our code affect this movement yet, depending on my firing range. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to go ahead and make a new comment. This is going to be all about the boomerang motion. And in here, I'm going to go ahead and drag this motion down. Okay. So I'm going to make this motion dependent on the firing range. Now how do I do that? Well, remember, this right here is the radius, the X radius and the Y radius. So what if I make that dependent on my firing range? So I'm just going to replace it with firing range. So I'm going to look here, common expressions, variables, object, boomerang tower, firing tower. Okay, I'm going to take off that 400. And let's go ahead and replace the 200 right here. And let's see it work. Alright, so we see that, yeah, it's smaller. Let's go ahead and bring it right here. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. Let's bring it closer. Awesome. So it's still not quite exactly, but we see that this range actually scales up and down depending on how far this tower is from my marker. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and make this a draggable object just to make it easier to debug. Edit object, behavior, add draggable. That way I don't have to keep pausing or stopping program and so forth. I can just do this. Perfect circle. Alright, but we see here that there's still a problem. It's not perfectly aligned. Now how do we get that? Well, there's maybe an easy fix. Maybe what if I just try dividing this by 2? The firing range. Go ahead and see that. Nope, definitely not. Nope. Nope, what's going on? Alright, so maybe that wasn't the correct fix. Let's go ahead and leave that. Alright, but in this video we got a lot done. We went ahead and made a lot of objects, variables, and we made it so that this rotates around both the boomerang and the boomerang marker. Boomerang tower and boomerang marker. Alright, we'll go ahead and do more in the next video.